Hello, everybody. It's Andrew Feely, your host here, and we have a lot of news to cover, so let's get into it, shall we? On the topic of abortion, the Alabama State Senate passed a near total anti abortion bill, which has no exception to rape and incest. And the point of the bill was to challenge the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court case. And in response to this, an Alabama clinic got many calls from women fearing immediate closure, but it will be open for at least 6 months. And my opinion on abortion is I'm against abortion. I think that, um, people say that it's not the government's business, and I can see where they're coming from, but, you know, um, yeah, I can see where they're coming from, but in my opinion, if people don't want to have kids, then they shouldn't have sex, and if they do, then they should take preventative measures from having a kid. And if they do end up having a kid, then they should like give the kid up for adoption instead of killing the kid. But that's just my opinion. Um, a Missouri state senate also passed a near total abortion bill, banning abortion in 8 weeks, and doctors could go to prison for up to 15 years. But at least with the Alabama abortion bill, I think it's too extreme where doctors could get like 99 years in jail for doing an abortion operation, and like that's more than like a rapist. So I don't think that's fair, and that like a woman wouldn't get any consequences for wanting to have the abortion. And yeah, along with Alabama and Missouri, there were I think total of 6 states that passed abortion measures, and it's making abortion more divisive between Americans and their opinions against and for abortion. With the Iran topic, Trump's advisors considered putting up to 120,000 troops in the Middle East in response to Iran, and Iran officially ends some of its nuclear deal commitments. I learned that Switzerland was an intermediary between Iran and the U.S. The U.S. wanted an improved nuclear deal. The U.S. pulled its staff from Iraq. The U.S. said that the Iranian military might be behind the oil tanker attacks, where oil tankers, I think two were Saudi Arabian, one was maybe UAE, which is the enemy. Both countries were enemies to Iran, and so they think the Iranian military might be behind some attacks in the Middle East to like U.S. allies, and that's why the U.S. is getting more involved. Senators from both parties demand an Iran meeting, and Republicans feel in the dark about a confrontation about with Iran, like with not being on the same page with the White House, or at least not knowing the information well enough. American allies are also confused about American strategy with Iran. An Iranian commander said a full confrontation is near. Trump told his defense secretary that he didn't want to go to war with Iran, and I respect his opinion greatly, actually, with Iran, because he was saying that he didn't want to go to war, and not only that, but he wanted to negotiate and talk with Iran's leaders. But it seems like his security, like his advisors, Security Council, doesn't seem like they're all with him. Like John Bolton seems like he wants to go to war with Iran, and it seems like it's been a pattern for him to want to go like towards war. So it just depends if how much he's going to listen to his advisors or do the right thing, which is what he's talking about, and see to negotiate. But we'll just have to see with time. The U.S. military officials say there's no plan to confront Iran, which is really bad news because if something were to happen, we need to have a plan in place for attacking or defending. The Trump administration is thinking of sending hundreds of migrants a week or two to two Democratic counties. Um, Trump lied about giving $91 billion for Puerto Rican aid. He actually gave $11 billion. And Trump removed steel and aluminum tariffs from Mexico and Canada. The Democrats call for that we're having a constitutional crisis, but they don't move towards impeachment. The Treasury Department rejects Trump a Democratic subpoena for Trump's tax returns. Jeff Bezos calls out his plan for O'Neill colony on the moon to house up to a trillion people in floating colonies. So with that plan, I disliked it in the beginning, but I think that it may work out. I mean, I personally believe that we shouldn't be trying to think of solutions outside of the Earth. We should be trying our best to fix the planet. But these floating colonies, he wants them to have like a warm environment and warm climate, and then I think like floating colonies by the moon or on the moon, and that would at least get some people off the Earth to try to like help the Earth more to try to fix the environment. But this is like far into the future, and I honestly, excuse me, think that the best solution is to try to like fix stuff here on Earth with like sustainable energy and other solutions. But I guess it could be right in the right direction. 27 cocoa keeling islands in the Indian Ocean have few residents but an estimated 400 plus million pieces of plastic debris that came in from the ocean. A Guatemalan, a Guatemalan toddler apprehended at the border died weeks later and was the fourth migrant child dead in U.S. custody since December. Ohio state officials failed to respond to a doctor that abused 177 victims over decades. Stormy Daniels reached an agreement with Cohen and Davidson, her former attorney. Architect I.M. Pye has died at 102. Austrian far-right leader resigns after, like the youth leader of their party, resigned after a video was released. A big chunk of ice from West Antarctica is causing a quarter of it to be unstable. Flynn told the Mueller that of people tied to Trump and Congress um, tried to obstruct the probe, basically saying that he told Mueller of like people, probably the names of people that obstructed the Mueller probe, like the Mueller investigation. Trump agreed with his Commerce Department of outside car companies harming national security by declining interest to American car brands. And that's probably true that like he called out Toyota and then Toyota responded back to him. Well, he called out Toyota and then of course all other car brands outside of the United States, and Toyota responded to him. But I mean, he's probably right, but it probably wouldn't be the best idea to go after these companies because they probably give a good amount of money to us as well and have some benefits with us. University of Maryland took a long time to respond to a hidden virus. A man accused of war crimes and torture got accepted to work at Uber and Lyft. Supersonic ice, which is black and hot, is confirmed, and maybe the interior to icy planets. An American explorer, Victor Vescova, was the third person to reach the ocean's extreme depths. Among other things, found plastic, which is the deepest part in the ocean. A woman was murdered after a group cuts a baby out of the woman. Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat from Hawaii running for president in 2020, called a report on her campaign being backed by Russian sympathizers fake news. And it sucks that she. I don't like that she used the term fake news after how much Trump uses it about a lot of articles against him, or just talking about him in general. If something is fake, that like from a report, you know, then it's hard to say it, but she could just say that it's not like true, but it's whatever. But hopefully, it's not true about her campaign being backed by Russian sympathizers. 16 states allow religious exemptions from vaccines. And I think that's very bad because that causes a lot of problems for us, like diseases like the measles, which were close to being eradicated from the United States, are now coming back in big numbers because of stuff like this, where like 16 states allowing religious exemptions from vaccines. That means that you know you have to be affiliated with these people that do not want to get vaccinated, and then if they go out, they could, spread this disease to a lot of people, and it could make it a big deal. So that's pretty scary. Michigan Republican Justin Amash broke from his party to say that Trump engaged in impeachable conduct, and Barr misrepresented Mueller's report. Four Americans died in a plane crash off the coast of Honduras. At least 16 people were injured in an explosion in Egypt on a tourist bus. Grumpy Cat, a meme cat, died. People who eat ultra processed foods eat about 500 calories more a day than people who eat healthier food. An ex-spy sentenced for 20 years for giving secrets to China. China is trying very hard to get to our secrets, and that's why I think that trade deal didn't work out. A lot of it is intellectual property, with China stealing a lot of our ideas and not giving Americans credit for it, and that's how they're becoming so advanced so quickly. Is they're just taking our ideas, and America doesn't appreciate it. And it's not like a solo case with this person. There's a couple spies that America's finding, and they keep finding people on the inside giving information to China. So hopefully we can keep going with sentencing these people to prison for life, or at least 20 years, like this person. The horse War of Will won the Preakness Stakes a day after a horse dies, and the first and second place horses from the first leg did not attend. The Chernobyl disaster is a paradise for plants and animals, with humans living there. And Parkland students um, were grateful to have a therapy dog. So, yeah, that's all the news over the past weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.